Hi, how are you? Today is a beautiful day to bring to you a new series called Mic Drop Mondays. Mic Drop Mondays are exactly how they sound. We are going to be doing a series of all of the things that deserve a mic drop moment, and I'm going to bring it to you here every single Monday. So let's get ready to roll because I've got some stuff I got to get off my chest. Now, before we even get into the mic drop moments, you have got to understand a few very important things here. Number one, spots for Restfully Rich are still open. What? This is such great news because if you have been circling my world, if you have been waiting for the moment to say yes, now is the opportune time. Spots are going to be open for just this week only, for you to come in, snag your spot, and get restfully rich with all of us. This is the lowest price that I will ever offer Restfully Rich. So if you have not already asked how you can get your ass inside, do it. Do it. Yesterday, do it today, do it right now. Let's go, inquire, fill out the application. Let's really have an honest conversation of what becoming restfully rich is actually going to do for you. And if you are still sitting somewhere on the fence of, I'm not quite sure, I don't really know, I need you to understand this one absolute, so honest truth right now. What is it going to cost you mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, if you stay exactly where you are right now for the next 4 months? Is that worth your comfortability? Or is stepping into a completely new identity where you get to live that restfully rich lifestyle, where you're getting to earn more without having to outwork yourself? This is the spot for you. So come, please join us, take a seat inside amongst me and the other women who have said yes to this and who are literally watching their life transform before their eyes. The second thing that we've got to talk about before we dive into this first ever Mic Drop Monday is if you are someone who maybe you already are living that restfully rich lifestyle. Maybe you already are cashing in all kinds of fuck you money while living super restful, super laid back, super at peace. You have brought that vision to your reality. But now you're in a totally different season where you are like, dang, I am having to overcome so much on my own all over again. Like, this doesn't make any sense. I thought I've already achieved what I need to achieve. What is going on? There's no surprise to that because this is what happens. We are constantly evolving. We are constantly on the evolutionary path that is our own journey. And guess what? I have private container spots open for the woman who is like, you know what? I still need to work on me. I still have to heal my stuff. I still want to be more confident. I still want to be more self-aware. I want to have better emotional and spiritual intelligence. I want to become a master manifester. My private container is exactly for you. Okay, so come on in, give yourself a little tune-up, and let's get the party started. You can also apply using the link in the show notes to become a private, intimate, one-on-one client with me. If you already are not inside of my free membership, I don't even know why you're watching this video, to be honest. Like, get your ass inside. It's free. It's a community of over 130 people who are dedicated to living that magnetic movement lifestyle, okay? Inside of my membership, I am hosting constantly new ways to elevate my members. I am constantly dropping little nuggets of wisdom on them. I am always giving my intuitive downloads to them first. It honestly is like my own little social media hub, right? Like, I create things for my membership more so than I create things for this. You know what I mean? So if you aren't in there, get in there. Please, what are you doing? It's going to change your life. All of my entirety of mindset and manifestation work is inside of my membership, and you deserve to get your hands on it. So let's go. Join by using the link below. Okay, that brings us to Mic Drop Mondays. So a little backstory here. Something happened over the last week, and I can't remember exactly what it was, and it was hilarious. And my husband said, oh, mic drop. He said mic drop Monday. And I was like, damn, I'm going to use that. I don't even know what he was referencing. Probably some kind of sport or weather thing, because in this house, sports and weather are always on in the background, always. If this man wasn't doing what he's doing now for a living, he would do some kind of something with sports or weather for real. That's just the kind of person he is. So it had to have been something along those lines. And he said it, and I was like, I was in the kitchen and I heard him say it. And I said, ooh, I'm going to take that. And then I said, what if I called it mic drop Mondays, or like money mindset mic drop Mondays? And he was like, I think you should just keep it to mic drop Monday. I don't think you need to add all that other stuff. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I said, it's going to be a place where I talk about all of the misconceptions and my bold opinion and viewpoint on things. Because if I'm being so honest, that is why people love me, because I don't have the same kind of mentality and the same kind of fucking Rolodex of things that I talk about inside of mindset and manifestation. And now that I'm even so much more solidified in who I am than even I was a year ago, 2 years ago, more things are coming up that I'm not so like, oh, I shouldn't share this. Oh, I don't think this would be accepted well. Now I'm like, it came up, people have got to hear it. I've got to get it out there, because when you are someone who thinks differently, who moves differently, who views things differently, sharing that perspective is honestly your medicine. It is what you are here to cure the world of, because let's be so for real. We have enough copy and paste. We have enough people who are saying the exact same thing in every corner that we look at, right? Share your authenticity. Let your freak flag fly. And I hope that Mic Drop Mondays is somewhere that you can come, that you can feel seen, and that you can start getting the courage to share more of yourself in a way that's more visible, more unapologetic, more, hey, here I am, take it or leave it, right? Because that is honestly the vibe here. And of course, I've been taking notes, and I have quite a list of things that I want to dive into. So I'm going to keep this as bite-sized as possible. I don't want to overload you with too many things all at once. So this specific episode, we are kicking it off with words. What? You're right. We're going to go through every single word in the dictionary, and no, I'm totally kidding. That'd be nuts. I'm sure there is someone out there who does that. I'm going to go off a little bit. Did you guys ever watch The Middle? It's a hilarious, cute little sitcom, and their son Brick, he's obsessed with fonts. So he hosted a font podcast, to talk and dive into the different types of fonts. So fucking funny that was even a thought for someone to create about the character. That's just what that made me think of, but we're not going to get into that, are we? No, we're talking about words here. Recently, someone who was close to me was sharing a little bit of their philosophy and how that they parent their children. And they were saying, and this person has a bold, authentic way about them. They share unapologetically their thoughts and opinions. And it's one of the reasons why I love them so, because it's so refreshing for me, because I'm also that way. So it's really refreshing to have people who are in my inner circle that also are that way as well. And this person, a lot of the things that they think and believe aren't necessarily super aligned with me, but I respect and love the hell out of them because they share unapologetically. They know that every room that they walk into isn't going to be welcoming with open arms, but they still live their life, believe their beliefs, say the things that they're thinking, and that's it, and I love that. So I really love talking to them specifically about parenthood and all of the things, because you get to a point where you're like, yes, you want your kids to know me. I want my children to know me. I don't want to put on a facade, or, I don't want it to ever be like, Mom, you act so different whenever we go to so-and-so's house, because that's what it was for me growing up. My parents hid a lot of who they really were to family, to some friends, and I didn't like that. I always thought why can't you? Because then it teaches your children to water themselves down, to filter themselves, when really it's be unapologetic, be bold. And if people don't like that, then that's fine. You aren't meant to be liked by everyone. But when you are authentic and unapologetic and wear your true self on your sleeve, where no one can really has to guess if you are who you say you are, you're showing them every day who you are, the right people are going to find you. And you don't have to worry about keeping this company of people who A, don't fucking like you, or B, don't make you feel safe enough to be yourself. And my children are always going to feel safe with me because I'm always going to be real, right? So having this conversation and this person was telling me, I'm really trying to watch my mouth more. I'm really trying to watch how I say things, whatever, which is fine. I get that too. Me personally, my children are going to hear me say fuck. They're going to hear me say bitch. They're going to hear me say all the cuss words, but they're never going to hear me talk negatively about myself. They're never going to hear me speak negatively about money. They're never going to hear me speak negatively about the circumstances that I have created. They are always going to see life they're going to see me through the lens of, this is my mom. I don't ever have to guess who or what she is, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, just yesterday I was cooking dinner and I was getting frustrated because my son is at the age where it's, they're exploring, they're learning. Everything is going to be touched, put in your mouth, messed with, and I was cooking dinner and I was trying to not mess up the dinner while also trying to monitor him. And he was getting into the same thing over and over again that I kept repeatedly telling him, like, no, don't touch that. No, don't touch that. And I lost it a little and I raised my voice and I moved him from the situation and told him no, we don't touch that. And my voice was raised. And as soon as I set him down, I was like, I need to take a break because I don't like that I just raised my voice at him. He's a fucking baby. Like, are you serious? So I took a step back and I, centered myself for a few moments and I went back to him. I picked him up and I looked him in his eyes and I told him, I said, I'm sorry that I raised my voice. I should not have raised my voice. You are exploring, you are learning, and my job is to make sure that you're doing it safely. And I didn't feel that it was very safe for what you were doing. And I was also a little overwhelmed because I'm trying to make sure that dinner's good for us. And I'm sorry. And I promise I'm going to work to do better, to not raise my voice at you because that was really unnecessary. He's a baby. He's getting my emotions and my nervous system more than my words, but I was still very grounded in that moment. And so to say the least, he's going to see all of me, right? And I also have the self-awareness and the understanding that I am his example. So I need to lead by example and I need to show hey, I was wrong. I'm going to own it. And I'm going to work on myself to not let that happen again. But I can't make any promises that it won't, but I'm going to try. Right? So back to this conversation. And they were telling me how, that they'll be in the car and instead of getting angry at someone for cutting them off, instead of saying stupid, they'll say silly. And they were saying how if their child asks them a question that they kind of know is a silly question, they'll ask them, do you think that was a real question or do you think that was a silly question? The intent behind what they're doing is good, right? The intent to not say the word stupid is good, but you're just covering that word up with something else. And then they kept talking and saying how they'll say the word fat, oh, you fat dog, because they have a dog and the dog will get into stuff oh, you fat dog. And so the children are calling the dog fat dog. And I made a comment and I said, well, what if instead of calling someone stupid, they call them fat? And that person's like, hey, I'm not fat. And I didn't mean to, it means stupid. And it's well, then just say stupid, right? And again, the intentions are well, the intentions are pure, the intentions are right. That's not even in question, right? But I rose the question to my friend and I said, why can't you just say the word? And instead of having to change the word, but still have the same energy behind it, why don't you change the energy, right? Because here's the thing. We give meaning to words. We give meaning to, if someone were to call me fat, dumb, ugly, stupid, whatever in another language, okay, I don't understand what you're saying, but I could see the energy behind them. If they were insulting me, I would take it as insults. This person's insulting me. Don't know exactly what they're saying because I don't speak the same language, but I can tell they're insulting me. So I'm offended because whatever they're saying, it's insulting and they're insulting me. I'm offended, right? Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm Jesus, I don't know what you're saying. I gotta go. What's going on? Because you give meaning to words. But if the energy behind what you're saying is negative, is sharp, is not nice on the tongue, is not well intended, is not out of kindness, then that should be the behavior that's being shifted and changed, not the words. Because if I'm losing my temper at someone who cuts me off on the road, that's a me problem. That person might have to shit their pants. They might be on the way to the hospital because their family member just got into a horrible accident. They might be having the worst day of their fucking life and they just want to get home. Right? Like, we're going to get into something here. But that has nothing to do with me. They're not doing it to me. And even if they are, that says nothing about me. How I react and respond is everything. And yes, I lose my shit. I lose my cool. I am not always calm, cool, grounded, collective, regulated ass nervous system. I'm human. But I have enough awareness about myself that when I get to a level that isn't a neutral point for me, and I like to say that it's not feelings from the divine, anger, hate, frustration, jealousy, like those are not feelings from the divine. And if I feel those feelings, it's a very good nudge for me to go, wait a second. Whoop. What is going on? Why is this happening? What is coming up for me? Why did I get so angry? Why did I get so triggered? Because it's never just because of what someone else does. Hello, this is Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous 101. You cannot feel inferior without your own consent. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. There we go. You cannot say that someone else made you mad. Someone else made you happy. Someone else ruined your day. You have control over that. So it's that same energy that if you are constantly getting frustrated because your dog is being a dog, regulate yourself. Maybe change the environment, right? Like, for instance, for my son, and baby proof isn't the word I'm going to use here, but it's making his environment safe and friendly and comfortable for all of us. So he doesn't get to come in my office. My son doesn't come in here. And if he does, it is very like, we can just kind of hang out on the floor and bring one of your toys in here, because there's too much stuff in here that is a hazard. Like, all of my books are paper, like you can get a paper cut, right? I also don't want my pages ripped up or my book covers, like, this is my stuff that I don't necessarily want to be messed with. There's also a lot of breakable things in here. So these doors in my office stay shut. Before him, they were always open because I love my office. I like to just walk by and look how pretty it is. But so the kitchen, his bedroom, the living room, the hallway, like all of these things are available for him to exist and live in. Because if not, then I'm going to constantly be feeling like not regulated and not okay, because it's just not an environment for a child, right? So you change the environment. If you are constantly wanting to call someone or something stupid or dumb, what about you makes you feel like, why even say that, right? Because dumb and stupid is relative. The smartest people in the world are dumb, like they might not have street smarts, or like street smarts people might not be able to put a fucking fraction together. I sure as hell can. I still have to ask my husband, what's half of a fourth cup? Because I don't fucking know. I don't know. I have to ask ChatGPT if he's not around, like, how do I cut this recipe in half? Because what? They don't make sense to me. How is a fourth? Like, I don't get it. What does it even mean? It's an eighth cup, right? But how does that make sense? Because the 8 is bigger than the 4. Like, what? What? Doesn't make any sense. It's triggering me. But it's triggering me because it's like, dang, this feels very simple and I should learn this. And it would take probably 15 minutes to really learn and like solidify in my brain. But I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. It's all about what is behind the words that you're saying, the energy that you're putting off. The word doesn't matter itself. You calling someone stupid is, it's like the sentiment behind, bleeping out cuss words in songs or bleeping out cuss words in TV shows. We know what that word is. Just fucking say it. It's like, oh, well, there's children around. Well, maybe don't watch this shit with your kids around. Like, maybe watch age-appropriate things if they're going to be in the room. You know what I mean? It's like wild and nuts. But then you have some shows that let them say like the most out-of-pocket crazy shit. And you're like, see, now that whole sentence you just said, that should have been censored. Your entire life should have been censored. Why? How did you get on TV? You know what I mean? So it just boils down to teaching teaching yourself how to look through a different lens, through how to look through a lens that is more calm, more neutral, more loving, more kind, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be this hateful ass person. So why are you saying hateful things but covering it up with words that aren't as hateful, but the intent behind it is still hateful, you know? Maybe this will ask you to take a little bit of a dive inward and really see what you have to say for yourself and how you're showing up in your life and the example you're setting for others. And here's the thing, like, not that we always need to be an example for others, but we need to be example for ourselves. And you know, the little WWJD bracelets, what would Jesus do? I like to ask myself, like, what would my highest self do? Does my highest self fly off the handle at someone on the road for cutting me off? If she doesn't, then what can I do now in this state to not let that happen for me? Right? Like, set the intention when you get in the car to, I am not going to lose my cool if someone doesn't drive the way that I think that they should be driving. Because who made me fucking queen of the road? No one. I don't even want that job. That job sounds horrible. I don't want to be queen of the world. Fuck the road. Fuck that. So why do I even care? I don't care. Keep me safe. Get me where I need to go at a timely manner. Let the views be pretty. Let my music be on point. Let me get a nice cold brew for the drive. And that's all I fucking care about, really, at the end of the day. But it just, like, I'm just using this as an example, but you're getting in your car and you're going to set the intention, like, I'm not going to lose my cool today. It is none of my business how other people drive. My business is to make sure that I am driving safely and following my own standards, right? And you're going to be met with an opportunity where someone's going to trigger you and make you fly off the handle. They don't make you do that. You make you do that. But the universe, and what the universe is going to do here is say, okay, I hear you. I see your intention. Now let's put it to your actual reality. Let's see if this is something that you actually mean. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to happen, and you have an opportunity in that moment to act the way that old you would act, or step into the version of you who doesn't fly off the handle if someone cuts you off, or if someone is stopped too long at a stoplight, or if someone does whatever else on the road that old you would get mad about. And an instance too that I want to share here is I was having a conversation with someone like a month or two ago, and it was on the topic of visibility. And they were saying how, you know, whenever I first started my business and I was posting online, I had so many people like going off on me in the comments and telling me like what a quack I am. And this person is a somatic healer. So already, like, you know, you're posting something that is it's not very new age, right? Like it's still like somatic healing is something that isn't very like as well known as, I don't know, getting a physical, right? And so whenever she was posting about it, she already had this belief that people weren't going to understand her, that people weren't going to think that this was legit, that people were going to kind of mock her. So she was met with that. And then she did the healing within herself. And she really got clear on, okay, my desire to teach people this has got to be more solidified than what anyone could negatively say about me. And that's the inner work that she worked on. And lo and behold, a few months later, didn't have any more of those comments. Years later, maybe one or two over the course of an entire year, will kind of weasel their way in and say some out-of-pocket shit, but it's not her normal like it was. And she's not doing anything different. She's still showing up and talking about the same fucking things, but she feels differently about her work and her medicine than she did when it first started. Because the universe was like, you want to show the world this, you want to bring this to the main stage, you want this to be something really beautiful and incredible, amazing. Let me give you a little bit of resistance to really put your money where your mouth is and see if this is something you actually want to hold true to. And that's exactly what happened. This is your life. This is your book. This is your movie. You are allowed to be whatever fucking character that you want to be in it. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to live a beautiful, lavish, abundant, wealthy, healthy, happy life, start looking for ways that you can improve yourself. And really ask yourself if it makes a whole lot of sense if you're changing the word, but still having the same energy behind something. Ask yourself if it really makes sense to say that you want to be seen and heard, but then being an anxious ball every time you hit post or every time you try to have a conversation with someone at a networking event. You have magic that the world needs to see. And I think it's time you start sharing it. And I will see you next time. Bye.